Welcome back to episode 190 of the ATD Baseball Podcast. Hope you all had a wonderful 4th of July weekend. Whether you stuffed your face with hot dogs or you blew up fireworks, hopefully you didn't blow up your hand or anything like that. Hopefully everybody had a safe, wonderful weekend. Happy birthday, America 250. Hopefully we'll all be here when America turns 300 because if they're doing stuff, if they're doing crazy fireworks show and stuff for 250, what is America gonna do when they turn 300? That's the question I kept asking myself all weekend, especially on 4th of July. But hopefully you had a safe and fun 4th of July weekend, and we are in the final week, first half of the regular season, and it's flying by, man. I can't believe the All-Star game is already next week, but um, we have stuff that we want to discuss today. Not that much, but we still have stuff. We have a bunch of umpires retiring. I guess all of them ganged up and be like, you know what, let's get out of here before the robots take over. So um, we have that. The All Star starters. Well, the whole team got announced this past weekend, so we have some thoughts about that. And then Dodgers Yankees. You got my Dodgers that continue to climb, and you got the Yankees that been pissing Kyle off the last couple nights here. So um, we'll get into that. But before we get into everything, of course, like we always do, Kyle, how are you doing today?
Yeah, overall I'm doing pretty good, man. I've been I've really been on the FIFA kick, dude. The World Cup, dude. It's fun, man. It's extremely fun. And here's the thing, like I've exactly, yeah, Melo right there. He's got Portugal and Spain in the back. And yeah, dude, it like I've never truly been into soccer that much, and I could probably name maybe two or three players, that's playing in this tournament. But you know what? It's fun. It's something that I bought into, and I think it's extremely cool because again, like it's something that we talk about with the WBC all the time is fans of the nation coming together. And dude, like these soccer fans are ballistic, dude, insane. But it's been a good time watching the World Cup, and I don't have much stake into it, so it's extremely fun to just sit back and experience soccer and everything else, and whatever happens happens. But yeah, and then on other sports news, Giannis officially became a member of the Miami Heat today, dude. It's been like 2 weeks since this whole thing started. And the news finally broke from Shams about 2 weeks ago, and he's officially a member of the Miami Heat. I'm stoked. We're still waiting on LeBron on his decision. What's going on there? But on the baseball side of things, because this is a baseball podcast, my Yankees have been pissing me the hell off, man, and it's only going downhill from here, dude. It's it's bad, dude. It sucks. It really does. I'm not gonna get too far into it in the intro, but as soon as we get to the Yankees, dude, I got a lot to say. This team is a dumpster fire right now. But other than that, man, I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. The Dodgers continue to beat the shit out of the Padres and continue to humiliate them in each worst possible way. Electric couple nights at Dodger Stadium. It's been crazy from a One Piece giveaway that was on Thursday. I know Kyle, you saw that. Crazy
Mhm.
lines, crazy like people were reselling those cards for like over $1,000. Like it was crazy, man. Just I never until recently I never understood like how popular like these anime shows are. Like I just it's crazy.
Extremely.
And the last couple years I realized like damn, like these things are for real. And on top of it, we had the Padres, of course, for 4th of July weekend, and the Dodgers had two super fun games. Thursday night, down 6-0, and then the Dodgers blow them out and beat them 12-6. And then Friday night, probably a worse night. The Padres had an ideal game. They got six strong innings out of Michael King, and then they took him out, and then they brought in Adrian Morejon. Dodgers get a couple guys on base, and then Teoscar Hernandez with the big swing, the big grand slam to put us ahead, and then the Dodgers take the lead and go on to win. And then 4th of July night, Yamamoto pitched brilliantly, seven shutout innings, and the Dodgers win 2-0, and they take this series 3 out of 4 against the Padres. And They do what they're supposed to do, man. They lost yesterday, but hey, when you've been humiliating the Padres like you have been in the last couple weeks, you can you deserve to throw out a game. Here, we'll give you a bone here, but Dodgers continue this this 9 game homestand. We got 6 games. We got 3 against the Rockies, and we got 3 against the Diamondbacks this weekend. So the Dodgers should be continuing to roll into the All Star break, playing some good ball. And um, I'm wearing my Max Muncy "Go Get It Out of the Ocean" T-shirt from RotoWear because so going into really he's been stuck on this for a while, but so Max Muncy currently sits at 129 home runs for his career at Dodger Stadium. He is 1 home run shy of tying Eric Karros for the most home runs ever hit by any Dodger player at Dodger Stadium. So I'm putting this out there in the universe now. I am trying to manifest it. We got 6 more games of this homestand. Hopefully, Muncy can get the 2 out of the way and he can stand alone as the all-time Dodger Stadium home run leader. You know, we've been celebrating a lot of Dodger milestones this season. Of course, the 2025 championship with the ring ceremony and the banner and all that. But we've also celebrated some individual accomplishments and milestones as well. Just last week, we celebrated Dave Roberts getting 1,000 wins as a manager. I'll touch upon that when we get to the Dodgers. Mookie Betts, I got to see him hit his 300th career home run in Minnesota, and Freddie Freeman getting 2,500 hits for his career. So it's time for Max Muncy to join that group of milestones and accomplishments. And hopefully, with 6 more games on this homestand to close out the first half, hopefully he gets it done because Max Muncy, it's kind of crazy that he's been here for, I think, 8 seasons already, which is insane. And he's put himself in some of the history books for Dodger regular season and postseason. So, um, I'm wearing this shirt because hopefully Muncy will have a good week, get these last 2 home runs, and we can, continue with the great milestones here in 2026. And before we really get into this, you mentioned LeBron James. See, I knew I knew this was gonna happen. Um, I knew LeBron was probably not coming back to the Lakers. I think I told you that last week before we press recorded.
Yep.
Um, for my sake, I put money on Prize Picks for his next team. So I have a bet right now, $15 to win 250 um to go to the 76ers. So LeBron, if you're listening, go to Philly because I have money on the line here and I think it's a perfect fit. I know Kyle wouldn't want that because those Sixers fans are already crazy enough, especially now that they have Jalen Brown, and I think they're going to be pretty
Can't
good this
stand
year.
it, man.
On top of it, you add LeBron James. Oh shit. Um Thank you, LeBron. It was a fun 8 years in LA. Listen, man, I really thought that LeBron James was going to finish his career with my Lakers, man. Like, especially just some of the things that he was saying around 2020 and 2021. It felt like he was never going to leave. But on top of, oh, somebody scored. Spain just scored. They took a 1-0 lead against Portugal. And in the 90th minute, too. So there's 6 more minutes of extra time. So that is a big goal. Damn, that's crazy. Live reaction here. I should do
Absolutely.
my goal. I'm not gonna do that, but anyways, thank you, LeBron. It was a fun 8 years in LA. Enjoy your career. Just don't go to the Warriors. That's all I ask. Just you want to go back to the Eastern Conference, go try to win another ring, and go off into the sunset. But that's all I hope for. But anyways, let's get into the topic at hand here. We're gonna start with the umpires. So apparently they just all decided to gang up and be like, you know what, let's get out of here. The most notable one, C.D. Buckner announcing his retirement at the end of the season, and there was a handful of other umpires that were choosing to accept like their opt out or whatever, so they would retire at the end of the season. Um, it's crazy. We've lost some big name umpires in the last couple of years. Of course, the most notable one, and of course his name is blanking me.
Angel
Joe.
Hernandez or
Oh
Joe
yeah,
West.
Joe West. Yeah,
Yeah,
Angel Hernandez. Those are the two big ones. And now CD Buckner's on this list too. And you get you. It's probably not a good thing if
Hmm.
you can remember names of umpires. And for the
You
most
showed
part, it's
up.
usually something that they've done bad, or they've screwed your team per se. But I guess out with the old, in with the new. And I mean, listen, it was time for some of these guys to go, especially now. And with the ABS system now implemented in baseball, it has really been able to shine a light on the bad umpires and the good umpires. And I think you've seen that so far through the first half of games here in 2026. But just kind of news that came out of nowhere, really, just a handful of umpires calling it quits at the end of this season.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing here that we kind of got to talk about is this whole ABS system, dude, because I it's got to play a role in it, right? And I truly do think we're going to get to a point where we're not going to have memorable umpires anymore, and it's maybe for a good thing overall, but at the same time, it's like it is part of the game, it's part of baseball that we love, and yeah, I truly do think ABS plays a big role in this, and I think it's going to get to a point where the ABS system is just so like natural and normal to us that you know I don't know if there's going to be those umps that we're really like paying attention to name wise and stuff, because again, the ABS system's there, and it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it really doesn't matter much anymore because they're not going to be you know memorable in certain moments. It's just one of those things. So it does take away from the human game, but again, probably for the better. CB Buckner, I mean, he's one of those umps that has been known for these things, and yeah, I mean, congrats on retirement, I guess, him and the other umpires. But yeah, it's kind of bittersweet because like, yeah, CB Buckner, he's known for shit calls and everything else a lot, but at the same time, it's part of the game, and we start to have these umps as household names, and in discussions, especially with what we do and everything. So yeah, it's kind of bittersweet, but there'll be a new batch of umps coming through, and yeah, we'll see where it goes from there. But yeah, congrats on retirement to CB Buckner and the rest of these guys, and we'll see where the future of umpires go, because I do think the ABS system plays a big part in this.
And speaking of umpires, I was looking on Twitter just to see the group of umpires that are retiring at the end of this season. But then the first thing I see is apparently Kyle Schwarber got ejected like a half hour ago for I guess he didn't like the check swing that was called against him. So
Hmm.
that's never gonna go away.
Nope.
ABS or not, being able to eject players anytime you want. Alan Porter, that's his name, the guy who um just ejected Kyle Schwarber. But some of the other names on here, CD Buckner, Laz Diaz, that's another one. I've heard his name 1,000 times. Uh,
Yep.
Brian Aurora, Lance uh, Barkdale. Sorry if I'm saying these people's names wrong. I'm not good with names at all, as you've probably heard over the years. Marvin Hudson, Tony um, Randazzo, and Andy Fletcher. Those are the seven that are going to be leaving the game at the end of this season. So maybe for the better, because
Hmm.
after this season, there's no guarantee when the next season's going to be. So, um, I guess get out of it now. So we shall see. But let's talk some All Stars. So the group, the starting nine for both sides, well, really the whole team, starters and reserves, all got named to the All Star game this year. Of course, we'll do the starters, your lineup. Well, not the lineup, but your starting nine for each sides. National League, Drake Baldwin, Freddie Freeman, Ozzy Albies, Max Muncy, CJ Abrams, Juan Soto, Brandon Marsh, Andy Pajes, Shohei Ohtani. A lot of Dodgers and Braves in there. And then with the American League side, Shea Langoliers, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Ernie Clement, Junior Caminero, Bobby Witt Jr., Mike Trout, Aaron Judge, Byron Buxton, Jordan Alvarez. That's your starting nine for each sides. The main takeaway, I think, from a lot of people, the fan voting needs to go away. To me, there's no reason why Ernie Clement should be starting second base for the All Star for the American League side this year, and I didn't think Vladimir Guerrero Jr. deserved to start either. But um, that's just my opinion. I'm trying to look and see if I can. Oh, here we go. I found the other pitchers. Some of the other pitchers in the for the American League side: Brian Baker, Dylan Cease, Aroldis Chapman, Jacob Lads, Parker Messick, Drew, um, Joe Ryan, Cam Schlittler, Cade Smith, Ranger Suarez, Luis Varla, Michael Walker. Reserves for the American League side: Randy Rosarena, Travis Bonanza, Cody Bellinger, Yandy Diaz, Dylan Dingler, Riley Green, Nick Hertz, Kevin McConnell, Ben Rice, Adley Rutschman, and Miguel Vargas. Shout out Miguel Vargas. Very happy for him. Former Dodger. I'm glad he's figured it out. Pitchers, National League side: Chase Burns, Johan Duran, Rosell Iglesias, Max Meyer, Mason Miller, Jacob Mizorowski, Eduardo Rodriguez, Chris Sale, Christopher Sanchez, Paul Skeens, Logan Webb, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And then the reserves: Luis Ariz, Corbin Carroll, William Contreras, Pico Armstrong, Hunter Goodman, Bryce Harper, the Legends pick, Otto Lopez, Matt Olson, Kyle Schwarber, Sal Stewart, Jordan Walker, and James Wood. Those are your rosters for the All Star game this year in Philly. And of course, it'll be the National League side will be managed by the greatest manager in the history of the world, Dave Roberts. So hopefully, the National League can win again for the second straight year. Oh, just looking at the game. So yeah, of course, what comes with All Star teams and selections, it comes with snubs, and a lot of people were not happy with a lot of snubs here. Um, I'm gonna put on my Dodger hat for a second, and I am going to bang on the drum. Why is Justin Robleski not on this team?
Yep, absolutely.
He has been phenomenal for the Dodgers this year. I was so disappointed that he didn't make it. He's 10-2. He has a 2.0 ERA, 64 strikeouts, right at a 1 whip. Like, what more do you have to do to be an all-star team? And every year this seems to bother me because I question why he even gets selected to the all-star team. Um why and I think I've said this for the last 3 years. Why is Logan Webb an all-star this year? 5
He
and 6 with a 3.66 ERA. Why? Over a
he
10-2 Justin Robleski, because over a 10-2 Robleski who's been better than him all year. And listen, I understand that Major League Baseball you have to take one player from each team, but I thought this was the All-Star game, not a popularity contest, not a names contest. Now, I look at the starting lineup, there's clearly some guys that don't deserve to be there, but um, I'm banging on my drum for Justin Robleski. I was super disappointed he didn't make it. Also, and again, I'll keep my Dodger hat on. Tanner Scott. Tanner Scott, if there was an award for this, Tanner Scott would be the favorite for comeback player, comeback reliever of the year. I know his record's not great. It's 1-3, but he has an ERA under 2, 46 strikeouts, and under 1 whip. Guy's been nails for the Dodgers this year after a shitty 2025 campaign. I don't know, but um, any other snubs, Kyle, that you think of? I know there's still
yeah.
plenty. I just named you two Dodgers, but
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm gonna double down on the Robletsky pick. He was as soon as these All Star teams came out, and I knew that we were gonna talk about snubs and just go over the entire team. Um, I almost immediately thought of Robletsky. I feel like that's been a big topic of conversation when we do the Dodgers recap on here. Is Justin Robletsky week after week? He's going out there and he's pitching nails. Um, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't agree with you enough on that front. But let's take a minute to talk about the home of where the All Star game is being played, and that's Philadelphia. Is
yep.
why is Zach Wheeler not an All Star? This that is blasphemy to me, and I completely understand the fact. Like, hey, Zach Wheeler was out at the beginning of the year. He was dealing with his injury problems and stuff like that, and I get that. But at the same time, He has had 13 starts where he's 8-1, 2.36 ERA, under one whip, 84 strikeouts in 80 innings. Are you kidding me? This dude came back and immediately slotted in right behind Christopher Sanchez and was a beautiful 1-2 punch for Philadelphia. And here's the thing that pisses me off. The game's in Philadelphia. I I understand the whole popularity thing that we talk about and things, but if it's in the host city and they are they are deserving of a spot, I feel that that kind of needs to be, taken into account. And Zach Wheeler deserves it to me, man. He really does. Sticking in the National League here for a little bit, Bryce Terang, his name has
Yeah.
come up a lot in the last couple of years, especially coming up with the Brewers and then in the WBC playing for Team USA. I He's another one to me. Um, Sticking with the Brewers, Kyle Harrison, 8-1 with a 2.82 ERA. It's pretty good, man. Pretty good. Um, yeah, going over to the American League. I hate to admit this, I really
Sonny
do, but
Gray.
Sonny Gray, man. Sonny Gray looks good this year. He's kind of rejuvenated his career a little bit over there in Boston. 2.61 ERA. It's pretty good, man. Yeah, and I'll close it out with another division rival for me, and that's Nick Martinez, dude. I mean, what he's doing down there in Tampa Bay looks pretty good. He's kind of taking the spot for Shane McClanahan, and again, I don't understand how the hell Tampa Bay does it every year, and we'll get into them when I talk about the Yankees. But 2.61 ERA, 7-2. I don't know, man. Like, to me, this All Star game, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a nice little break from the season, and we also get the trade deadline in there. It's always something we look forward to, also because we have Cooperstown in there for the Hall of Fame ceremony, and it's overall just a really fun week of baseball. It really is because it takes away from the norm, and we kind of just get to get to sit back for a little bit and relax depending on where your team is and if you're looking forward to the trade deadline. But when I look at this all-star roster, this one's bad, man. I'm not I'm now don't get me wrong. There's a lot of guys on this list who deserve to be there. They really do. But when I look at Ernie Clement starting at second base and some of the snubs that we talked about and Vladdy Jr. getting voted in as the top first baseman, come on, man. I mean, th- the one thing that would have set me over the edge is if Alejandro Kirk got voted in as the freaking catcher of the American League.
He's only played 10 games this season or something.
That's what I'm saying, man. And he was in the discussion there for a while. I don't know. I'm so over the All-Star voting that it kind of it puts a damper on the All-Star game, man. And I hate to say it because All-Star games can be fun. It's a fun way to especially with what we do and the media days and stuff like that. It's cool to see something out of the norm. It's cool to see some of the players that we want to play together, especially like I remember when Juan Soto came over to New York, seeing him play for the American League with Aaron Judge. It was a cool weekend. And then you got Garrett Cole in there a couple years ago, Giancarlo Stanton returning home to LA, winning the MVP. Like, those are cool moments that you can look back on, and it's like, holy shit. Do you remember when Jaron Duran won All-Star Game MVP? And it was actually really cool, and it's a moment that I can take my Yankee hat off and root for guys who I normally don't. It's a fun weekend. It really is. But at the same time, when the voting gets like this and it starts to be like watered down, and there's guys who are sitting at home taking a week off of baseball because they weren't voted in when they should have been there, potentially starting the All-Star game, that's a problem, dude. It's a huge problem. So overall, yeah, this All-Star game, man, this year is just it kind of rubs me the wrong way, but I do want to shout out a few people here. Um I'm going to look at the American League side of things for a second. I think it's extremely cool that Shea Langoliers and Nick Kurtz for the
Yep.
Athletics are starting. I think that's such a cool movement out there in Las Vegas slash Sacramento. It's cool, man. And we talked about the Athletics being one of those teams that are rebuilding, but at the same time, they have a vision. and it's cool to see them actually getting rewarded for it. So good for them. I look at Junior Caminero, a guy who really doesn't get too much hype because he's plays in Tampa Bay. He's a bit on a heater right now. I think he's hit like 10 homers in the last 11 games. Absolutely ballistic. Mike Trout, it's a cool story, dude. We talked about it at the beginning of the year that Mike Trout started off the year extremely hot, and I'm glad he's kept it up long enough to get his 12th All Star nod. That's good for him, man. Seriously. I hate to admit this too. Jordan Alvarez having a hell of a year, but it's cool to see him bounce back from
Triple
all of
crown.
the. Yep, it's so cool to see him kind of bounce back from all those injuries that he was having and turn into that beast that we know he can be down in Houston. So good for him. Reserves, Dylan Dingler. I feel like he's somebody who really doesn't get a lot of attention. Again, he plays in Detroit. He's young, whatever it is, but I'm glad he's getting his flowers. Kevin McGonigal's another one in Detroit. Ben Rice, my guy. Absolutely love to see him getting recognition. Miguel Vargas, again, you kind of talked about him. You have personal ties to him, but for me personally, it's so cool to see a guy who really didn't get that good of a chance out in Los Angeles just because of the guys who were in front of him. He now goes to Chicago and he lights it up. He's playing to his potential. Good for him. Cody Bellinger, cool to see him there. Looking at and again Cam Schlittler, he's deserving of this. Looking at the National League, Drake Baldwin, it's a cool story. Sean Murphy went down. He kind of had to follow in. Cool to see that. Um, yeah, Andy Pajes. Honestly, dude, I'm
Yeah.
going to talk about Andy Pajes for a second. Now, there's a reason why I didn't mention any of the other Dodgers because it's like, well, we kind of expect them to be there. The Freddie Freemans, the Max Muncies, the Shohei Otanis, but Andy Pajes going all the way back to last year. There's a chance. There's a world where the Dodgers don't repeat without Andy Pajes. And for the fact that he's getting his recognition finally, he's playing to potential, everything else, good for him. Seriously.
And he had a bad postseason last year.
Yeah. Yep.
And, it was so bad that they took him out of the lineup.
Hmm.
And he's coming to 2026 motivated. I remember when in 2024 that, he was struggling to play center field and Dodger fans were calling for his head like he can't play center field, bring somebody else. He's turned into one of the best damn center fielders in the game, and he's
Absolutely.
getting and it's paying off. And I thought Pajes should have been on the team last season because
Yep.
he had a good first half as well. So I'm glad that he's put it together and he's deserved it. And I also want to shout out Max Muncy. Now I know like the Dodgers, but it's like Max Muncy for the last couple seasons he's either been hurt um for the majority of the first half of the season because he's done this before where Muncy will have a great start to the season, like a first good month, and then he'll tail off or he'll get hurt and then he'll miss significant time. But the years that he had stayed healthy, he had been blockaded by some of the best third basemen of our generation. Manny Machado, Nolan Arenado, these other guys. So now part of it is Max Muncy took advantage of a weak third base, a weak third base position this year. Like I said, no Arenado hasn't been that. Arenado has had a down year compared to his other years. Machado hasn't been good this year. So I mean, look, it was either Bohm or Muncy. But I'm glad Muncy's had a solid first half. He stayed healthy for the majority, and this is his first All Star game since 2021, which is crazy. I couldn't believe when I first heard that. But Muncy's another. And I know, Muncy because he's on the Dodgers, but to me he's a good story as well. He has really put it together, and he's made the All Star team at three different positions: third base, first base, and second base. So that's really cool. And Muncy deserves to be the starting third baseman for the National League this year.
Absolutely. One other guy I just want to mention real quick that I think deserves his flowers, and that's Jordan Walker for the St. Louis Cardinals. This Cardinals team has been a pleasant surprise. Seriously, I didn't count them out at the beginning of the year, and I'm glad they're finally have a plan going forward. This team, I'm telling you, and I'm going to go off on a little tangent here for a second just to talk about the Cardinals. They're pitching away from contending,
Yep.
honestly. I think from here on out, this young team, young lineup is going to start putting it together more than they already did this year. If you get some good pitchers in there, you wouldn't believe what could happen. So the Cardinals, they're again like the Athletics, they're a team that had a vision and they're actually finally starting to put it together. And now listen, I'll be the first to admit that I was pissed when they blew up their core. Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt, and the rest of those guys. But when you actually look at it and what they're doing now, it makes sense. They have a vision. So good for them. Seriously, that lineup top to bottom can be dangerous. And if you get some pitching in there, those Cardinals, man, they're here. So props to Jordan
Yeah,
Walker
they
for
can
making
hit in the fog too, as they've shown over in Wrigley over the weekend.
absolutely that
I
and
have the perfect trade candidate for them too.
who's that?
How about a reunion with Sonny Gray?
It it makes sense, man. It really does. Boston's down on their luck this year and probably going to be sellers at the deadline if I had to guess. But we'll see. But one of the other things too, we were talking about Snubs earlier. JJ Weatherholt.
Yep.
Listen, he's gone in there to St. Louis and really made some noise. I think it's a little premature for him, but I think he'll get there for sure. That's a snub that I'm not like too terribly upset with. Do I think he deserves it? Yeah, but I can understand a world where he doesn't. But this Cardinals team's going to be good, and Jordan Walker's a big reason why he's finally putting it together. So props to him for making the All Star team.
Last one here, Wilson Contreras. I get why they don't want to. Probably didn't want to put him on the team.
Hmm.
'Cause he just got in a big brawl recently, and
He's been in the headlines a
he's been
lot
in the
recently.
headlines for the wrong reasons. So
Hmm.
I can see why maybe the players probably didn't want to put him in there. But
Yeah,
I thought he deserved to be there too. But
it's understandable. I get it.
week from the night, home run derby, all star festivity. So so far I think we only have one participant.
I was gonna say
It's Junior
I'm
Caminero, I think, right?
yeah. I I think we'll get to a point where we're gonna
This
start
has to
seeing
be
it a
the week,
lot.
man. This has to be
Absolutely.
the week.
Yeah.
I've heard one name that now. I think Bryce Harper wants to do it,
Yep.
but I think he's looking for the right throwing on because I think his dad is hurt or something.
Yeah.
Another one I've seen, and I hope we get it. Hunter Goodman from Colorado, and I'm going to see him the next couple nights. He's been
Hmm.
mashing the shit out of the ball this season, and I hope that he does it. And I think he took BP like he was preparing for it.
Yeah.
I think
Yep.
he's just said he's waiting for the invitation.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I want to see. Let's get some Rocky Love out here. I want to see it.
Absolutely.
So,
I agree.
all right. Teams, and then we'll call it a day. I'll keep mine short and sweet because I have nothing to complain about this week. Um, like I mentioned, Dodgers take 3 out of 4. Well, they took 2 out of 3 from Sacramento. You know, a lot of Dodger fans and a lot of Dodger analysts wrote down this series as a trap series
Hmm.
because you were just coming off a series in San Diego. You were going to Sacramento, and then you had this big homestand coming up. So, you know, the Dodgers thankfully did not screw around. They took the first 2 games. They completely punted the third game. You know, Mookie had the day off. Shohei got pushed back his start. They called up some guy from AAA just to eat innings. There you go. So, um, and then yeah, the Dodgers took 3 out of 4 from the Padres, and they did what they were supposed to do. Up 14 in this division. Nothing for me to complain about. The Dodgers can get their 60th win before the All Star break. Um, I guess the only thing I'm concerned about is that it's very clear that the Dodgers are going to run away with this division this year, barring some, knock on wood here, barring some um, historic collapse. They're going to win this division by a million games, and I just hope that the Dodgers can stay locked in on focus because the last 2 seasons they've been pushed to the brink up into the final week of the season by the Padres, and I think it helped the Dodgers stay mentally focused and locked in, and they were playing competitive October baseball in the month of September. So hopefully the Dodgers can stay locked in. That's my only concern. Some other type of notes too. Mookie Betts is red hot. He is feeling it, man. He's been again had another very good series against the Padres. He's continued to look good. Freddie Freeman continues to hit a hot bat. Tommy Edmonds, ever since he's come back from injury, he's looked fantastic. Teoscar Hernandez had the big grand slam Friday. He's looked pretty good in his return. Um, we're just missing the pitching, man. Um, Edwin Diaz, and I completely forgot he was on the team until I saw him throwing yesterday to hitters. So he should be back shortly after the All Star break. I saw Tyler Glass now throwing not on the off a mound but on the ground on the grass yesterday, and Blake Snell was throwing at hitters. So Dodgers are getting their pitching back soon, and man, like if they're playing this well with some of their guys missing, what are they going to look like when they're at full strength? And that's the thing that's most scary and gets me most excited about this team for the second half push here. But no complaints, and I'll leave you with this. So of course, Dave Roberts, congratulations to him getting his 1,000th career manager win. Um, I wish it would have happened at home. That's going to be a good trivia question because barring I don't think Sacramento's going to get a team here anytime soon. So it's going to be kind of like that trivia question like, where did Dave Roberts get his 1,000th career? You're going to think Dodger Stadium. You might think San Diego. It happened in Sacramento. It
Yep.
happened in Sacramento. Congratulations to him, the fastest manager ever to get to 1,000 wins. He has the highest winning percentage. I think it's at over 600. I know that. So congratulations to him. Um, Kind of a rocky relationship with Dave Roberts. You know, a lot of people, including myself, thought after 2023 that it was time for a change. It was time to move on, get a new voice. Dodger management didn't do that. They stuck to their guns. They stayed with the plan, and Dave Roberts has delivered, has been the manager and delivered two back-to-back championships these previous two seasons. And um, I think the thing that I love the most about it is that Dave Roberts, we've seen him grow not just as a person but as a manager, man. Like the biggest knock on Dave Roberts when he first got here in these first couple seasons, he didn't know how to manage a game. He didn't have a sense of feel. He was always going off of the analytics, and he was taking out starters too early and stuff like that, or he would bring in bullpen guys too late. So thankfully, he has developed this skill, a lost skill in the game of having a feel for the moment. Does he still do analytics? Of course, everybody does. I think, why the Dodgers are so successful is that they have analytics a part of their 162 game season plan. But in the postseason, especially in these last couple seasons, Dave Robert has played his gut, and it has paid off for the most part. Putting in Miguel Rojas in the final two games of the World Series last year, putting in Walker Buehler to close out a game against the Yankees in 2024. Like, Dave Roberts has seems like he has pushed all the right buttons, and it's been paid off. And um, so huge congratulations to Dave Roberts. And who says he can't get 2,000? Who says he can't be here for another 10, 11 seasons? He's young enough. He's still in his 50s, and this Dodger team is playing well, and there's no reason why the Dodgers are just going to get rid of him. So, and I'll leave you with this. The last, so Dave Roberts last week became the fourth Dodger manager to get 1,000 wins in his career. The last two managers in Dodger history to do it: Tommy Lasorda in 1988, Walter Austin in 1965. Why did I mention those 2 years? Dodgers ended up winning the World Championship those 2 years. So Dave Roberts is looking to become the third manager to do the same, and hopefully it can happen in 2026. So if there was any more reason for the Dodgers to go out there and win it all in 2026, Dodgers got a little bit of history on their side as well. So hopefully that'll happen. Fingers crossed, of course. But fun week. Can't complain. Dodgers continue to play well. Let's finish this first half strong. We got Rockies for 3, day off Thursday. Then we got the Diamondbacks next weekend. So there's no reason why the Dodgers can't close this out 5-1, 4-2. Just let's get to the All-Star break, make sure everybody's healthy, and enjoy the week off. But for now, just no complaints out of me. The waters are very calm in Dodgerland right now.
Absolutely. I think for me, I'm on the complete opposite side of the spectrum here. Yeah, my Yankees have not been great, dude. Ever since that series in Boston, it's kind of gone downhill. And we kind of talked about it kind of talked about it the last couple of weeks here building up. So yeah, they got swept out of Boston. They lost yeah, they got they got swept by Detroit, and then They took 1 out of 3 against the Twins. So again, it has been rough for the New York Yankees as of late. And like I said, they're 1-9 in their last 10. They're 4 games back of the Tampa Bay Rays. And guess what? Tonight they start a 4-game series against the Tampa Bay Rays. So if everything goes as amazing as it can, and they go into Tampa Bay and they sweep them, we'll be back at 0 in the we'll be tied for first place in the AL East. But let's be realistic and honest here. It's not going to happen. And I'm going to read you off some stats just to really like drive in to you just how bad this team has been. So in their last 10 games, they are averaging 2.7 runs a game. And then they have a team batting average of 157. Just to um, you know, just to rub salt in the wound here. They lost the series to the Minnesota Twins at Yankee Stadium for the first time since 2014. The Twins were 7-29 at Yankee Stadium since 2014. The Yankees have dropped 9 of their last 10. They have scored 3 or fewer runs in 11 of their past 17 games and are 0-11 in those games. They've scored 4 to 5 runs in the other 6 games and are 4-2. So here's the thing. Bread and butter for the New York Yankees is scoring runs. They have the pitching to be able to back up the lineup. But here's the problem. The pitching is also starting to go a little bit. Ryan Weathers seems like he can't get out of the 5th or 6th inning. Cam Schlittler had a rough start the other day. Garrett Cole got roughed up. I mean, this team is going through it in every level of baseball. The offense can't hit for shit. The bullpen can't close out games. And, well, they're not even in a position to close out games because they're getting absolutely rocked from the moment the game starts. Their pitching's getting rocked. They can't score runs. The bullpen's doing what they can. Camilo Duvall needs to get off my baseball team. Dude can't pitch for shit. I'm gonna list off a few names that I think the Yankees are going to be good cutting ties with. And that is Camilo Duvall. I have a list here.
Aaron Judge? No, I'm just kidding.
No, not Aaron Judge. They
I'm
need
just
him
kidding.
back. That's the problem. Camilo Duvall, Jake Bird, Austin Wells, and Anthony Volpe. Josh Chisholm Jr. is a very close. He's close. This team needs to have a new sense of direction. There needs to be something happening because the moment Judge goes down, I actually saw a stat the other day that I think the Yankees are, I want to say 38 and like 60 something in games where Aaron Judge has not played in the last couple of years, right? You bring in I've been talking about him a lot the last few weeks, but I hate to bring it up, but it's so true. You bring in a guy like Juan Soto and you have that protection. We had that for a year and look what happened. They made it to the World Series. It's the most success that this team has seen since 2009. And you now bring in a guy like Cody Bellinger, who, again, I love Cody Bellinger. I think he is a phenomenal ball player, but he is not the number one option. That is not why the Yankees signed him. They signed him to complement Aaron Judge and the rest of the supporting cast. When you're asking Cody Bellinger to be the number one guy, he's not going to do it. And it's the same with Trent Grisham. He's coming off of a career year, phenomenal year, but he's had injuries, and he's not that number one guy. He never will be. And honestly, Cody Bellinger, that ship has sailed for him. He is not that kind of guy that we saw back in 2019. So when you look at this team and you take Judge out of the lineup, this was my one big concern is there is nobody to carry the load. So now everybody says, well, it's one player. It takes a whole team. Yes, but you need to look at the pitching side of things. How is other teams going to pitch the New York Yankees when Aaron Judge is out? They're going to attack because they can. There's nobody to make them pay. So when you have Cody Bellinger batting in front of Aaron Judge, Cody Bellinger is going to get better pitches to hit. Well, now that Judge is out, who do they have behind him? Ben Rice. Again, you got to be cautious with Ben Rice. He's having a phenomenal year, but you can pitch around him. So now, let's say you get second and first base, touted up by those two guys. Who the hell is going to hit? What, Austin Wells comes in second, strikes out in 3 pitches, and then you have Jazz Chisholm bitching and complaining because, I don't know, the strike was there and he challenged it and it was it's clearly a strike. And then it's just not going to go anywhere. And the rest of this lineup can't do shit. Trent Grisham's not hitting. Austin Wells needs to completely get as far away from the New York Yankees as possible. Like I don't know, man. I knew this. I knew things were going to get bad. I As soon as Judge went down, I told you, I texted you that night and I said the Yankees are done. I knew it was going to get bad, but I did not think it was going to get this bad. I really didn't. This team is in the midst of a colossal breakdown. And somehow, some way, by the grace of the baseball gods, they are only 4 games out of first place. I don't know how the hell they managed that. Tampa Bay went on a bit of a skitter there for a little bit. But I'm telling you, man, this team is just never ceases to amaze me year in and year out. As soon as the summer hits, they can't hit for shit. And it's wild to me. I understand it's a long season. There's a lot, but I don't know, man. I don't like where this team is, even healthy. It was the same kind of worries that I had over the offseason. I liked Cody Bellinger coming back when it happened. I wasn't a fan of it, before that. I accepted it quickly. I was fine with it. But there was better fits on the market and they missed out on some of the big fish and now they're paying for it because here we are yet again. So I don't know, man. I'm going to look ahead at the trade deadline. There's a few pieces out there that I'd like the Yankees to look into. Ryan Jeffers being one of them, catcher from Minnesota. I also like Luis Ariz. I think he fits this team. I have been saying for years that I wish the Yankees would take a flyer on Luis Ariz. He's a 300 hitter every single year. You can slot him in anywhere in the lineup, and he's going to hit. I don't understand why the Yankees are just, you know, they just never took a flyer on him, ever. So to me, there's a few pieces out there. I would also like for them to go all in on Tarek Skubal, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I think there's a lot of teams out there who are going to try to get Tarek Skubal, but I don't think the Yankees have the farm system for it. And to be quite honest with you, even if they do, is it going to be another Juan Soto situation where he's here for a little bit and then he's gone? And I don't want to give up the capital in the farm system to be able to make that happen if he's not going to sign long term. Max Fried, once he comes back, he'll be I mean, it'll be a nice addition, but at the same time, you don't know what he's going to come back like. Look at Garrett Cole, man. He's not even close to the same as what he was, and I don't know if that's ever going to change. It sucks to say, but I don't know, man. It's tough sledding for the New York Yankees right now, but hopefully next week when we come back in here, the 4 games will be over in Tampa Bay, and then they play a 3-game set against the Washington Nationals, and then next Monday, Melo gets to have a free series because then they start their series against the Dodgers. So it's going to be a fun episode next week, regardless of how the Yankees are doing, regardless of how the Dodgers are doing, because it's always fun when our two teams meet and be able to kind of just preview that a little bit and kind of go from there. So the Los Angeles Dodgers will be coming out to New York, right? Yeah. Yep.
Back
They'll
to
be
the
coming
scene
out.
of the crime.
Yeah, they'll be coming out back out to New York. Rough memories for me, of course, but amazing for Melo. So, hopefully the Yankees can take a game from Los Angeles. I'll call that a win. If we can take one of those 3 games, that's a win to me, man. That's a big win. So yeah, we'll see what happens in these next 7 games. Like I said, they play a 4-game set against Tampa Bay and then a 3-game set against Washington. So listen, just try to tie the series against Tampa Bay at this point, and then work your way back up against the Nationals, and then hope and pray that you can even steal a game away from the Dodgers. So we'll kind of see what happens from here. But yeah, it's not that great with the Yankees. It feels like rock bottom all over again, and I don't know, man. We'll kind of go from there and see what happens. But this Yankees team, man, they suck, dude. They're bad. They're playing a bad brand of baseball right now, and it's so rough for me to watch. Like I truly wish that I could sit here and say that I watched all the games in the last week, but let's be honest here, I haven't. I haven't. They haven't given me a reason to watch any of these games. And I hate saying that. I watch them as long as I can until it's like, dude, I can't do this anymore. I'm gonna grab the spoons out of my kitchen drawer and scoop my eyeballs out if I have to watch this any longer. Meanwhile, my favorite basketball team's going out and getting Giannis, and the FIFA World Cup's on right now. So it's, Yankees, give me a reason to watch baseball again, please. At least the Yankees. I've been watching other games, but this Yankees team, man, dude, when they're like this, they're unwatchable, dude. They really are. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but it's a rough week of baseball ahead. Especially against Tampa Bay and the Dodgers for two out of your three opponents. That's really tough. So it's not going to get easier from here, and you got to figure out nobody's coming to save you. Judge ain't back from the IL yet, and he's not going to be for a while. So we'll see what happens, but we'll go from there. But that's my recap on the wonderful New York Yankees.
Here's the three opponents the Dodgers have coming out of the All-Star break, all on the East Coast. Yankees, Phillies, Mets. Talk about feasting. Well, maybe not the Phillies. They're actually good
No,
now.
not the Phillies.
There you have it. Yankees, Dodgers. We got
Yep.
a real crowd back in here.
Yeah, right, man. We'll see.
All right, well, unless you got anything else, I think that's going to do it.
I think that's it, man. I'll kind of end with this. This is a weird time in baseball right now. We're kind of just coasting in the All-Star break. We have the trade deadline coming up, which is going to be fun. It's always fun every year. We have Cooperstown, so thanks for sticking with us. I'll say that. It hasn't been too easy grabbing some of these topics, but baseball fans are the best in the world, and this is a sport that we all come together and love. So we'll get through it. There will be some exciting baseball coming up, but just thanks for sticking through it with us. So we appreciate it.
Thank you. And yeah, and for me, it's how do you think I feel? I mean, I know here comes the rich kid, woe is me again, but Dodgers are going to get 60 wins before the break. They've won the last two World Series. They're a million games in first place. We're just floating on the ocean right now. Just
You start to get used to it a little bit. Is that what
I
is
think
that what
so.
I'm hearing?
I think
Is that
so.
what I'm
I
hearing?
think so. We're just chilling on the boat, man. Just the water's calm. There's nothing. Like we're just waiting for somebody to like
Shake the boat a little bit.
shake the boat. Yeah, something. Now the boat was getting shaken by Dalton rushing, but you know that quickly got
Dude,
taken care of.
that's what it takes for the Dodgers, man. I mean, everything's so freaking good over there that it takes somebody sabotaging it from the inside to fuck it up a little bit, doesn't it? It's
Exactly.
crazy.
And a part of me doesn't want to say this because I don't want to bite myself in the ass here, but when we get to October, who do you outside of I don't even know who can beat this Dodger team in a 7-game series. I'm not
I
in love with the American League side this year,
mhm.
and even some of the National League teams this year. Like the Brewers, they kind of bore me.
Mhm.
The Braves have taken a step back. Now they're in a dogfight with the Phillies. Cubs are Phillies, yeah, but I mean, sure. And then you got the Cardinals, inexperience, and then you got the Marlins. Like who? I think the Dodgers. We're at this point where it's like they're the only way they don't win is if they beat themselves. Honestly,
No, absolutely. And you're 100% right on that statement. The Dodgers are going to have to beat themselves. That is true. We've known that for a while. The Dodgers are going to have to fuck up like fundamentally. Something's going to have to happen to swing the momentum, but to answer your question here, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I don't think it's the teams that we're really looking at. I don't think it's going to be teams like the Brewers or the Braves or the Tampa Bay Rays. I'm going to tell you who it might be. It's going to be teams that squeak in there. Maybe the Cardinals,
yeah.
maybe the White Sox for some odd reason. If the White Sox go on this freaking gauntlet and make it all the way to the World Series, I don't know, man. But I'm going to look at the National League side of things because that's who you're going to be playing mostly in October. I'm telling you, man, if the Cardinals squeak in there, I've been saying this for months. I have been thinking it. I have been high on this Cardinals team. They are playing with house money. They're not going to give a shit. They're going to say, you know what? The Dodgers are going to come in here. They're expected to beat us. Let's go lay it out all out on the line. Let's get cute. We have nothing to lose. It's a team like that that might end up beating the Dodgers. If there's anybody that's going to take them down, if we're looking at the teams who are kind of expected to be their toe to toe with the Dodgers, I think the Brewers have the best shot. Truly. I that Brewers team, they're not the flashiest, but they play a hard brand of baseball. I'll tell you that. And Pat Murphy is a guy who's going to get those you know, those players behind him and they're going to play hard, man. So, I'm looking at the NL Central, honestly. If there's going to be a team in there that's going to go toe and toe with the Dodgers, I think it's one of them too, man. I truly do because I don't think the Braves, as much as I want my pick to become true, I don't think the Braves are going to end up beating the Dodgers. And this Phillies team, again, they're coming back, they're playing better. The Dodgers are going to have their number. I have full confidence in that, but to answer your question, man, I think at the end of the day, the Dodgers are going to have to beat themselves. The Dodgers have a clear path to the World Series and to win the World Series again this year. They do. They have the best team by far in baseball, which is exactly why I don't agree with this. So I don't want this to get taken out of context. But this is exactly why there's going to be a lockout next year. Again, not me.
Because other teams choose not to spend. Right. Yep. That's exactly
Yeah.
why.
So when it comes down to it, that's pretty much what I'm saying. So the Dodgers do have a clear path to the World Series again this year, and they have a clear path to win it. There's nobody in this league who can beat them, in my opinion. So they're gonna have to beat themselves, or it's gonna be a scrappy team like a White Sox or like a St. Louis Cardinals. Truly, I think that's what it comes down to. And I'll tell you another thing, man. If they weren't in the division that they were, because I think they're going to miss the postseason. The Miami Marlins are another team, dude. They had a hell of a month in June. They played
Pablo
phenomenal baseball.
Lopez, NL Player of the Month.
Absolutely, very deserving. This Marlins team is another one that I could see. It's going to be a team like that, man. In my opinion, it's going to be a team like a Marlins, White Sox, or a Cardinals, if I had to guess.
Uh, okay.
Man, this is crazy, dude. I can't even like begin to imagine how you're feeling, dude. I just can't. Like even in every sport, all my teams, dude. They have no shot of going back to back. Some of them don't even have shots of sniffing the postseason. My high right now is Giannis coming to the Heat. I'm telling you, dude. It's crazy.
You're still in the honeymoon phase right now.
Right now, yeah. until we get to until the season starts and everything's kind of brushed off and we'll see the supporting cast that Giannis gets. But same with the Yankees though, man. I don't think this Yankees team, even if they make it to the postseason, I don't see it's going to be the same song and dance every year. I'll leave it with that before I go on a tangent.
All right. Well, we'll see you in a week. All star stuff next week.
Absolutely.
I got to get to the stadium and I got to get to the stadium. I'll see you in a week, or we'll see you in a week. Adios.